name's Emma Wickers, and this is my TED Talk talking about what I learned here taking my student development class. And I'm just gonna kind of talk to you about the life skills that I learned during this class and like how it's benefited me and made me a better person, and how I want it to make me a better person, and how I will like change like certain aspects of my life because of it. And first I'm just gonna address the things that stood out to me in the class this semester. The main things that stood out to me is the things that we learned in the emotional intelligence book that we read. I thought that book had so many good insights on just humans in general, and like kind of how we think and like how we can rewire our brains. And so in that book we learned a lot about social awareness, self-management, self-awareness, and relationship management, and those are all of the 4 things that stood out to me in the emotional intelligence book that we read. But some other really useful and beneficial things that we learned in this class were time management and just kind of like note-taking skills and like study preparation skills and different ways that we can succeed in college. And so yeah, I thought that was all beneficial to me, but the biggest thing that stood out to me was our budgeting little unit that we learned, and how we learned to better budget in our lives. And the reason why it stood out to me so much is because we actually had to practice it in our daily lives, like for our assignment of earning $1,000. And so the reason why that stood out to me the most is because I feel like I learned the most about it, just because so when you actually practice something in life, you're more able to apply it in your life and see the changes and see the growth that you've made. And so yeah, I loved how we were able to do that, because at the beginning of the semester when we had the assignment to earn $1,000, I was kind of scared. I was like, that is so much money, and I have to worry about my schoolwork, and I have to worry about other things, and I was just kind of stressed. But as the semester went on, I realized that it's actually something that was quite easy to accomplish as I put aside priorities. And so the priorities that I kind of set aside for this was not spending money on things that I wanted, which was kind of hard for me because I hadn't practiced this before, just because I've always had a job, and I've always felt like I might as well buy things if I'm working hard. But this was really important for me to learn that like saving money is important, and if I save money now, then I'm gonna have a more successful and better future. And so yeah, this semester I've tried to make goals with not buying things I've wanted. So whenever my friends are like, let's go out and like spend money going paintballing or going golfing or something like that, I've like had to turn it down, because I've realized that I don't necessarily need to do that. And saving money is more important, especially for my future. And another goal I made is only eating out once a month, which sounds kind of crazy, but with groceries, it ended up working out for me. And I realized that I was able to save a lot of money with that, because I used to eat out like once a week, and that was like crazy expensive for me. And so although like it wasn't necessary, it actually helped me a lot in the end, and I was able to save so much money. And then when I got here in Hawaii, I decided to get a job, and I nanny for a kid named Nami, and it's like been the biggest blessing in my life. I love it so much. And normally when I work, I kind of like give myself some money to spend on wants and stuff, but I've ended up putting it all in a savings account for this project, and just for life in general, because this has taught me that saving is a really important and essential thing for my life. And so yeah, I ended up saving $1,000 like we were supposed to for the assignment, and I've learned so much from it. I've learned that saving money is an important thing, especially when we're going to need to pay for things like housing, and especially when I have kids and I have my career and I have a husband, I will need to learn these important skills about saving money and like prioritizing needs over wants and stuff like that. So yeah, that was definitely the biggest thing that I learned this semester, just because I was able to actually apply it to my life. The other things that I learned were super beneficial as well, just because reading it really inspired me, especially with like social and self-awareness, because I realized that we do have more power over our emotions and our thoughts than we think. because sometimes you kind of just don't realize like how we're feeling, and that affects how we treat people. But I realized that if we can learn to be aware of how we're feeling, then we can better control our emotions, and we can better like control the situations that we're in. And that's super beneficial, especially for my future, especially for work. If I'm at work and I am feeling super stressed out and I don't know how to handle the situation, I'm not going to be able to handle it very well, and I could end up losing my job. And so this is something that's so important that I learned, because now I'm able to better kind of understand how I'm feeling and be like, okay, this is what I'm feeling, and like I need to be aware of that. And once I'm aware of that, like I'm able to better treat the situation. And I actually have seen it work so far in my life this semester with like my roommates. Like sometimes when I've been frustrated and I didn't know what to do, like I didn't know, like I thought I was gonna scream at them because I was so frustrated, but I just had to like take a couple seconds and realize that like this is how I'm feeling, I can control this, like, and I ended up being able to control it. And I definitely had some hard times with it, because when you're living with someone it can get frustrating when they like do the same things over and over again. But I learned to get better at that and to get better at controlling my emotions, and I feel like it's made me a better person. And I'm just overall really grateful for everything I learned in this class. I feel like it really just was super beneficial, especially since we're all freshmen in college, and all of these things are really important for us to learn, like the studying habits that we learned and like the note-taking habits. And it kind of just taught me to take school more seriously and be a better hard worker. And so yeah, I've really appreciated everything I've learned, and I'm really grateful. So thank you all for listening. That is my TED Talk. I hope that you can learn to apply social awareness and self-awareness to your life, because once you do, you can better control your emotions. I think all of these things are beneficial to apply to your life, and so you should really take student development. You should really take student development, because I think that it will change your life, because it changed mine. I also think that budgeting is never something you'll regret learning. Everyone needs to know this, because we're all growing up and we're all gonna be dealing with real life situations, so it will always be beneficial in our life. And yeah, I hope that you all enjoyed this and have a good night.